The back pain industry is lying to you. Here's something they don't want you to know. The back pain industry makes more money when you stay in pain. And I can prove it. I spent 5 years trapped in their system, bouncing between chiropractors, physios, pain specialists, and surgeons. I spent thousands of pounds. And you know what? My pain only got worse. But here's the thing that really opened my eyes. I wasn't supposed to get better. None of us are. Because the moment we recover, they lose a customer. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how this system is designed to keep you dependent, why almost everything you've been told about back pain is deliberately incomplete, and what you actually need to do differently. Look, I need you to know something first. This isn't your fault. When I was 19, I herniated 2 discs in my lower back. I had an L4, L5 herniation, bulges at L3, L4, and L5 and S1, disc degeneration, mild scoliosis. My spine and back was a mess. And like you, I did what I was told. I went to the professionals, I trusted the system, and over the next 5 years, I gained 48 pounds. And here's what really gutted me. I was doing everything right, according to the experts. Physiotherapy twice a week, chiropractic adjustments, steroid injections, painkillers, yoga, Pilates, massage, acupuncture, decompression therapy. I even bought an inversion table, and that's probably still gathering dust somewhere in someone's garage. Some days I'd feel 20% better, then I'd be to square one by the weekend. It was like being on a hamster wheel, and the back pain industry was perfectly happy to keep me running. Then one day, something clicked. I was sitting in yet another specialist's office, and he was telling me that I need to come back twice a week for the next 6 months. And I thought, well, if this actually worked, why would I need to keep coming back? And that's when I started digging into the research, and what I found made me furious. The back pain industry is worth over £12 billion annually in the UK, and in the US, over $100 billion per annum. And here's the kicker. A study published in the British Medical Journal found that up to 80% of imaging-guided treatments for back pain show no better outcomes than a sugar pill. The Lancet released a report in 2018 calling the treatment of back pain a global crisis of overtreatment and management. Let me say that again. The leading medical journals in the world are saying we're being overtreated and mismanaged with traditional treatment pathways. But it gets worse. Think about the economics for a second. A surgeon performing a spinal fusion, that's anywhere from $15,000 to $40,000 per procedure. Steroid injections, $500 to $3,000 a pop. And they wear off in a few months. So you come back, back again, and back again. And here's what most people don't realize. Surgeons get paid per procedure, not per successful outcome, per procedure. A study found in the journal Spine found that surgeons who own their own surgery centers perform surgery at rates 2 to 3 times higher than those who don't. Let that sink in. They're incentivized to keep you coming back, doing dangerous procedures, and having you pay that insurance premium. When someone profits directly from cutting you open, suddenly surgery becomes the answer to everything. And those steroid injections, they're brilliant for the bottom line. They give you temporary relief, just enough to make you think it's working, but they don't fix anything. It's like putting a piece of tape over your car's check engine light. The light's not there anymore, but the engine's still broken. So you come back in 3 months for another shot and another and another. Another study from the University of Sydney found that most chronic back pain patients get fragmented care. They see specialists in isolation who only address one piece of the puzzle. And you know why? Because that's how the system makes money. Your physiotherapist doesn't talk to your chiropractor. Your chiropractor doesn't coordinate with your physician. Your physician doesn't consider your mental health. Everyone treats their little piece, sends you on your way, and books your next appointment. It's just how the business works. The money structure and incentives are broken. Think about it. If a physio clinic charges, say, $100 a session, they have 20 patients coming in twice weekly, that's over $100,000, $150,000 per year just from those patients alone. What happens to that income when those patients actually recover? Painkillers are even worse. The opioid crisis didn't happen by accident. Drug companies made billions they knew were addictive. Internal documents from Purdue Pharma made in public court show they deliberately played down addiction risks to people getting hooked. And while opioids are the extreme, even basic pain medication is designed for managing symptoms, not healing. You don't recover, you just cope with the pain, and you keep buying and you get addicted. Now, here's where it gets personal. I realized I was caught in a system that profits from pain, and so are you. You've been sold this idea that back pain requires expensive, ongoing treatment from specialists, that we're broken, and that experts need to fix us piece by piece. That's not what the research actually shows what works. A major study published in the JMA Internal Medicine compared single treatment method approaches to programs that combine multiple methods. The results? Well, patients in combined programs, mixing physical therapy, mental support, pain education, and lifestyle changes, showed 60% better improvement in pain and daily function compared to isolated treatments. 60%. Another review in the Cochrane database found that combined biophysiosocial programs reduce pain and improve function better than usual care or physical treatment alone. But here's the problem. Combined programs don't fit the business model. They're actually harder to sell, they require teamwork, and most importantly, they actually help people recover, which means fewer repeat customers. So instead, we get sold on these quick fixes. Just do these 3 stretches, get adjusted once a week, take this pain medication, each one incomplete, each one keeping you coming back. Think of it like this. Imagine your back pain is the leaky boat. The physio is bailing out water. The chiropractor is patching one hole. The pain meds are making you not notice that you're wet. But nobody's teaching you how to exactly fix the boat and to get to shore. They're just keeping you floating, barely, because a sinking customer is a paying customer. And I was the same way. I bounced from treatment to treatment, always looking for the one magic solution. And I stayed in pain for 5 years because of it. And it wasn't until I stopped trusting the system and started building my own approach, combining physical therapy principles, proper nutrition, mindset work, targeted exercises, and yes, elements of chiropractic and massage when it made sense, that I could do myself. Everything changed. Within months, I went from barely being able to sit through a meal to training for a fitness competition. So what does this mean for you? It means you need to stop looking for the one thing that will actually save you, because it doesn't exist. But that's actually good news. Look, back pain is complicated. It involves your muscles, your nervous system, your movement patterns, your stress levels, your sleep quality, your nutrition, and your mindset. You can't fix a complicated problem with a simple solution. The research is crystal clear on this. A paper in the Journal of Pain Research put it perfectly. Chronic pain is a multi-layered experience, requiring multi-layered treatment. When you only treat one layer, you're ignoring everything else that's keeping you stuck. That's why stretching alone doesn't work, why adjustments alone don't last, why surgery often fails, because if they fix the structural issue, they ignore the muscular imbalances. They ignore the movement problems. They ignore the overactive nervous system. Think about it like a garden. You've got the weeds taking over. You can't just trim the tops and call it done. You need to pull out the roots, improve the soil, adjust the watering, get the sunlight right. It's the same with your back. You need to address all of the factors at once, not just the most obvious one. And the industry knows this. The research is clear. They just don't want you to know this. Because the moment you understand it, that you need a full integrated approach, one that addresses all the factors at the same time, you stop being a perfect repeat customer. When I finally pieced this together, when I stopped waiting for someone to save me and started taking control of my own recovery, everything shifted. I combined the best parts from every discipline I tried, the movement principles from physiotherapy, the hands-on techniques from osteopathy, the mindset strategies from cognitive behavioral therapy, the decompression concepts, the anti-inflammatory nutrition, all of it working together in conjunction. And for the first time in 5 years, I didn't just manage my pain, I eliminated it. I'm not special. I'm not some sort of genetic miracle. I just stopped playing by the back pain industry's rules, and I started following what the research says actually works. The science backs this up. A study in the European Spine Journal followed 2 patients for 2 years. The science backs this up. A study in the European Spine Journal followed patients for 2 years and found that those who did combined rehabilitation kept their improvements long term, while those in standard care often slipped backward. And that's the difference between dependency and freedom. Look, I'm not saying that every physio or chiropractor or surgeon is trying to scam you. Most are good people doing their best within a broken system, but it's the system itself, the structure of how back pain is treated in the modern world is designed to keep you coming back, not to set you free. And look, the longer you stay in that system, accepting fragmented care and temporary relief, the longer you're going to stay in pain. I know because I lived it. The depression, the weight gain, the lost years, the strained relationships, feeling like you can't go out because you're going to have a flare-up, the feeling of having a hidden disability when you're amongst all of your friends or your family. All of it could have been avoided if someone just had told me the truth from day one. You deserve to know that there's a better way, that recovery is possible, that you don't have to accept a life of just managing pain or gambling on surgery, but it requires you to think differently, to stop looking for that one fix, to start building a full approach that actually addresses why you're in pain. So here's my question for you. What would your life look like if you weren't in pain anymore? Not managing it, actually free from it. What would you do differently? Where would you go? How would you move? That version of you is possible, but only if you're willing to stop playing by the industry's rules and start taking a different approach. I put together some resources in the description below, including research links and guides that dive deeper into what actually works. If you found this video eye-opening, those resources might be worth checking out. The choice, as always, is yours.